and I'm still alive. All right, let's see if we got some volume, and here comes the computer screen. Okay, let me clear this ad out. Oh, crap. Skip that. There we go. All right, move this a little bit. Healthy Disrespect, Robert, Motimer, Fastball, Handyman Prepper, Jacob, Johnny, Finance Sojourn, Michelle, Wendy, Texas Raider, Lorna, Pennsylvania, Mama Bear, Try Love. Good, you guys can hear and see me. All right. Happy Tuesday, guys. We're getting closer and closer. We are less than 2 weeks away from Christmas. Hope you all are getting your decorating, shopping, wrapping, cooking, whatever you're doing. It's probably getting close to time for us to start making Christmas cookies if we already haven't started working on that, which means we all get a little fatter this time of year. So we need some more exercise, right? But I'll give you this. We are now about a month away from starting to plant my spring garden. Yeah, it's almost that time already. So I hope you guys enjoyed this morning's video. It's fun. It's always my favorite video to make every year. I thoroughly enjoy doing all the charity work that we do and greatly appreciate all the help you guys do. And it's fun to put the video together. And this year I picked out some music to put in there so it wasn't just listening to us yap in the grocery store. I know a couple of you said, "Oh, we wish we could have seen more of the shopping in the grocery store." Okay, we were there for 2.5 hours. That had made for like watching paint dry. You had brain bleed by the time you were done if you watched us running up and down aisles. I wanted to give you the general idea, but it was fun. And then, of course, yesterday, just the craziness trying to do everything, get it all unloaded. Uh, Fortunately, Mr. Mountaintop Preps was able to take the morning off and come help drive a load up there because you guys didn't even get to see after we unloaded those two trucks. I had to drive back and go pick up Brett's truck and bring that one back and unload that one next. So yeah, we were going silly. So yeah, Mrs. P and I were pretty much worn out by the time the day was over yesterday. So today was just okay, we're taking it easy day. I had the interview with Colonel Miller this morning, and it seems like most of you enjoyed that. A few people kind of thought it was a sales pitch. No, it was trying to bring another idea to the table that may fit for some people. As I've said a million times, there is no one size fits all to prepping. I live out in the country. I've got 3 acres. Do I really have a need for Fortitude Ranch? Probably not. You live in an apartment somewhere in the city, maybe it's not a bad idea to look into it. But the other thing I looked at it was, okay, get a different point of view from somebody else, and bringing that, I think, helps because, as I've said a million times, the more information we could learn, the better prepared we can be for anything. So that was it. But I mean, it's interesting because getting conversations going with these people. I mean, I'm trying to find experts. I mean, Colonel Miller is the CEO/CFO of Fortitude Ranch. It's not like I'm talking to some guy on the street saying, "Hey, what do you think?" I'm talking about guys that are experts in this. And I mean, I try to find as many as I can. I mean, dealing with Elliot. Elliot's the CFO of Wellbots. It's not like I'm talking to some sales guy. These are the conversations that take a while to get, but I think they're beneficial to everybody. Unfortunately, I've got enough connections to get in touch with some of these people, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I think it's beneficial for some of you, But again, if it's not, great, no problem. Hit the little X. You don't have to watch it. Nobody's forcing you to. But there were plenty of people that thought the interview was worthwhile today. Some didn't, and that's fine with me. There's a lot of things that I find worthwhile to watch. and some that I don't. And I watched one today that was a waste of 2 hours of my life. On Saturday, you guys had mentioned watching the movie Leave the World Behind. And so, like I said, Mrs. P and I decided today was just a relaxed day. So we figured we would put this on from all the people that said, oh, you got to watch this movie. My opinion, that was probably the biggest piece of garbage I've ever watched. I mean, it ranks up there with Napoleon Dynamite to me to be the worst movie of all time. You know, Julia Roberts must be desperate for a part to take that. Kevin Bacon's in it. Kevin Bacon was in the movie for what? One scene where he's standing at the back of his pickup truck loading water, and then the other scene for 5 minutes near the end. Woohoo. I guess Julia Roberts needed her 7 degrees of separation with Kevin Bacon. They couldn't figure it out, so that's how they had to get her on that list. The movie was just bad. And the way I watched, I looked, first off, I was watching this because a lot of you said there was no political agenda to it. And, even though Barack and Michelle Obama were the executive producers, yeah, there was a political agenda to it, especially between the homeowner's daughter and Julia Roberts' character. The racial tensions in there was extremely political. I wouldn't put anything less, beyond Barack Obama to put some sort of racial aspect in it, But the whole premise of the movie was they never got to it. They spent half the movie trying to explain who the characters were, and then all of a sudden, oh, there was a plane that crashed, and oh, we found this house, and yippee. I mean, the movie was a hodgepodge of nothing. So would I recommend watching it? No. Some people thought it was good. Okay. Again, not all of us are going to agree. I didn't find anything educational. I didn't find anything entertaining. And I was doing my best at the end of the movie to stay awake. So not a whole lot of movies that are so bad they'll put me to sleep, but this was one of them. But so that was the day around here. There was next to nothing. Just relax. Mrs. P's got a sore back, so she was on the heating pad today. I mean, did a lot. We figure our best guess is we had somewhere between 3 and 4 tons of food that we had to load and unload. So yeah, it's a lot. Cans are, you guys know, cans aren't light. You're doing hundreds and hundreds of flats of them. It gets to be a lot. So we had a good time. So thank you again for all the help on what you guys did. You guys did a great job. The comments today under the video really were heartwarming. I mean, if you have a few minutes, go read some of them, because it wasn't, this was a team effort. This was all of us, okay? It wasn't just me and Mrs. P and me and Mrs. Mountaintop Preps and Brett and the 2 ladies that volunteered. It wasn't just us. This was all of us. I mean, we probably had at least 500 of you guys that made donations to this. This was a team effort, and because of all of us, there's going to be some food in the bellies. I mean, talking to Kitty said we brought enough food that they'll probably be able to still be distributing some of that stuff by April, okay, which is good. So, I mean, I think we had like 400 cans of green beans and 400 cans of corn and stuff like that. I mean, that's a good thing. You guys got to remember the way the food bank does it. It's just not, hey, here's your entire week's worth of groceries. They get enough to get by, but the idea is still to make people, keep them going. But they've got to have some skin in the game too. They need to go out and buy, work to buy the food, other food and things like that they need. So it's just supposed to be a supplement. It's not supposed to be everything, because as you all know, if you give somebody everything, they'll never go out and earn anything. So it's a help. That's all it is. So it's good. So that was it. The animals on the other side, the animals can't really go out and earn anything, so they're completely at our mercy. It was funny when I was talking to Jan at the animal shelter. She said what they get from the county every year to run the entire animal shelter. So this is, feed the dogs, pay the staff, shots, whatever they need to do. They get $20,000 a year from the county. So we gave them 1/4 of their annual budget yesterday. And what really chapped me was Jan was telling me, one of the county commissioners wants to defund the animal shelter, says that it should just operate solely on donations. And I told Jan, I said, get me in touch with that county commissioner. I said, I'll beat her senseless for that one. So that doesn't fly whatsoever. It's like, I got a better idea. Let's get rid of you and your salary. We'll just give that to the animal shelter instead if you need to cut the budget that much, because obviously she's useless. But yeah, so we did good. So I was very, very happy when I went to bed last night. Let's put it that way. I had a big smile on my face. I still did this morning. So I can't say thank you to you guys enough. So, all right, let's get into Q&A here. And I'll kind of run over this real quick. Most of you guys, unless you're new here, know how this goes. If you got questions for me, please put them in all caps, just like every other YouTube channel. Just makes it easier for me to get through the chat room a lot faster and answer more questions that way. That being said, I wholeheartedly hope that you have conversations amongst yourselves. This is a place for a camaraderie fellowship as well. And I don't have all the answers, so other people may be able to answer your question. You ask me a question, how to milk goats? Sorry, I ain't the guy to do that, okay? Somebody else in here can tell you how to do it. The only thing I do require is that you treat everybody in here with respect. Be civil. If you want to be an asshole, go somewhere else. Okay, that's not what we do around here. We're trying to build each other up and keep spirits up and keep people educated. We're not here to bash on each other. Difference of opinion is always encouraged. Being an asshole is not. So, all right, that being said, let me get to the top and we will see what we got in the way of cues. All right, and okay, let's see. Hokey Ranch, darn it, you made me tear up with that video. Trust me, I had to make it, okay? Which means I had to watch it about 4 times to make sure the blurred out license plates were in the right spots and the music was working. And trying to choose the music, and it was supposed to be, I thought it was a little uplifting music at the animal shelter, and as I watched it, I'm like, it's actually a little down. I was like, okay, so and I had tears in my eyes, and as I'm reading all the comments this morning, I'm like, okay, everybody's on the same sheet of music as me, but yes. Okay. Lead by example. The morning video made my heart smile, and good. I'm glad it did. Susan M1224. How did Mrs. P do going to the animal shelter? Are you adding a new furry friend to your household? Oh, trust me. As soon as we got back in the car, she's like, which dog would you have picked? And we probably would have. I think I've told you we've had strays come through the yard. I think five or six since we've been here that we've had to call up Humane Society. A couple of them we've taken in ourselves. And she's thought about if we couldn't get them to go back and adopt them and things. The problem we have is Copper is not a very social dog. He's fine with Daffy, but he's not a big fan of other animals, so he will get in a fight. And he is, besides being old and slow and blind, he's still got a lot of balls, and not physically, because those are gone too. But he's all for getting in fights, and so we don't want to be dealing with that. So yeah, no. As much as I'd love to, I think she would too. Realistically, says we can't at the moment. RLRL looks better than other channels' locations and crazy rules. Okay, I'm not sure what the context is. Cushnet said Colonel Miller was great. Yeah, I mean, we talked for probably about 20 minutes before we recorded everything, and it was interesting getting to know him, and we're talking more on a personal level. We talked about the uh, prepper type thing more, but I mean, here's a guy who's an Air Force intelligence veteran. It's okay. We had a lot of similarities, so we're kind of BSing back and forth about our backgrounds. Let's see. Charlie Knoll, did the rain fill the lake up? No, but it probably added about 1.5 feet of water to it. That was good. I could still use a lot more. We're about to, the pond right now is about to where, pretty close to what the high point it's ever been. I need another good rainstorm like that, and then I should be able to completely seal it again, and then we'll get the ram pump going here sometime this winter, and hopefully that'll get everything constantly running. Vicky Savage, I would have been interested in Colonel Miller's SHTF app. Gaming the options would be useful. It will be out, as he said in the video today. They're still working on it. It'll be out, I think he said like March or April is when he's going to put it out. So, just pay attention to their homepage, and you can, find it when you get it. I'd like to see that too, because I think from the way he was explaining it, it sounds like you can kind of figure out where your weaknesses are in your planning, and I'm never going to downplay anybody figuring out what their weaknesses is ahead of time. Lisa McLeod, thank you for the super chat. Says, Pinball, get me in touch with the person who wants to defund the animal shelters as well. I'm in Alabama, but they need to be talked to by people all over this country. I promise I'll be nice. Well, then you're doing better than I am, because I promise I won't be nice. Let's see. Original One Shot, One Kill. As I figured, anything the Obamas sponsored has to be crap. My opinion is the movie was. Certainly glad it didn't have to pay for it. Judy Who, can I believe Zelensky's looking for money again? Of course I can. He's a grifter. This is it. The guy's not a politician. The only thing he is there for is for begging for money. It's why he gets along with Joe so well. Neither one of them have a clue about how to run a country, but they know how to steal money. And so Joe steals it from the American people, gives it to Zelensky, who launders it, which is what Ukrainians are great at, gives Joe back some money, Joe sticks it into his pocket, and we're left holding the bag. Vlad gets some, Joe gets some, the people in Ukraine get screwed, and the people in the United States get screwed. But Vladimir and Joe are doing great. Yeah, I can believe he's looking for money again. I heard, I guess the Ukrainian parliament, I think is what it is, however they run their government, is looking to toss Zelensky out, which, he's going to be another one of these. When he's out of office, he's going to have to go in hiding in South America somewhere or whatever, because his head's going to be on a spit otherwise. Terry Moorhead, I've never seen you have another person like this morning's video. Was this your first? I've done a couple in the past, but like I said, I mean, trying to get to CEOs and CFOs is not easy, and then somebody's got to be interesting to talk to. It's got to be worthwhile to have a conversation. Let's see. Ghostwalker Airsoft Tech. Good evening, Pinball. Good cast with Fortitude Ranch. Thank you. I thought it was an interesting conversation. Didn't cover everything. I mean, we could have gone on for hours. But the whole point of the video was to introduce you to Colonel Miller and to Fortitude Ranch, and if it's an option for you, just to let you know it's out there. If it's not an option, move on. No big deal. The original One Shot, One Kill, right? No political agenda. Was Julia a transvestite? I guess in the movie, yeah, no, we didn't have that problem. No, they just, it's the Obamas. The Obamas want the racial divide. That was their whole political uh, platform. So they made sure if they were going to be in this movie, we had to have the racial divide. Kramit Dreams. Why did they leave the first house they were at? Okay, I'm guessing this is on the movie again. The family went on a vacation outside of New York City. It looked like they went to Connecticut or something like that. Rented a house that was owned by this guy and his daughter. Then when the whole blackout happened, the guy and his daughter came back, said, this is our house. And, of course, that was where the black-white dynamic came in and the bitching back and forth. And so, then they tried to turn in, for a couple of minutes. There was, oh gee, is the black guy and Julia Roberts going to have an affair? I mean, the movie was just so sloppy. It was unbelievable. But, yeah, it was, but again, the movie was a good parallel of the Obama presidency. It had no direction and didn't make any sense. Cheryl Dahlman, I listened to Bongino's take on the movie and it was food for thought. Dan's entitled to his opinion. So am I. Okay. Just like you're entitled to your opinion. Some people thought it was great. Good. I thought it was crap. That's it. I like oysters. Some people don't. That's fine. Pennsylvania Rambler, was there an underlying purpose to the movie? If there was, I sure as hell didn't figure it out, because they kind of were insinuating that it was an EMP, then they talked about it was a hack, then they said it was a hack by the Iranians, but then no later maybe it was a hack by North Korea or China. So, I mean, they're just like, okay, we need the next scene, let's throw a dart at a newspaper and see what we come up with. There was no flow at all to the movie. One Shot, One Kill. Thank you for the super chat. Some more for the pups and cats. Thank you for your work. There you go. Okay, I'll be going into next year's kitty at this point. Let's see. One Shot, One Kill again. The interview with Colonel Miller was great. Need a location near San Antonio. Somebody asked, he had mentioned that he had 7 sites, and I looked them up, and if I can remember them here, they are West Virginia, Colorado, Wisconsin, Nevada, California, Georgia, and Tennessee are the 7. Some are, I mean, like in Tennessee, they've got the land and they've got the main shack put together. They haven't done the complete build out. Other ones, I believe West Virginia and Colorado are completely built out at this point. Again, if it's something that is interesting to you, contact them with all your questions. They'll, I'm assuming, be happy to answer the questions. My question, and again, this disagreement's fine. My question is on the travel, and Colonel Miller doesn't think that the roads are going to be packed. I do. I don't think that if you haven't got to where you're going to be in the first 12 hours, you're going to be in gridlock somewhere. And that's depending on what the emergency is, as I made the comment to him too. If it's something we have a heads up to, like he was talking about, bird flu or something, hey, this is coming, get ready. Sure, you have time to make your plans, move to wherever you need to be. If it's something like an EMP, you're going to wake up one morning, the power's not going to be on, and you're going to, what the hell goes on? That's it. It's going to be 9 o'clock in the movie. Think of the movie Red Dawn, okay? Nobody knew it. I mean, granted, this is 1980s, but nobody knew anything was coming on until all of a sudden there's paratroopers coming down the sky, okay? You didn't have time to go change. The kids were in school. For a lot of scenarios, that's more realistic. If we see columns of tanks coming up through Mexico, yeah, we got time to move, okay? If a North Korea or China sends off a missile, we got 30 minutes tops from the time that the government realizes that there was a launch, and what are the chances of them getting the word out to us before it does whatever it's going to do. So yeah, again, there is prepping is not a straight line from point A to point B. It's all over the place. Okay, how everything happens. I still think the way it happens is economically. Uh, that because the one point of the movie today that did make sense was kind of made sense. It was near the end when they were talking about that the enemy is going to try to make so much chaos in the United States that we'd eventually take care of each other and they wouldn't have to do anything. That sounds like China's MO. Okay, so I completely agree that that's a possibility. You destroy our economy, you shut down, the communication system, you shut down the grid, you shut down the dollar, and we will have utter chaos. Okay, and then the Chinese can sit back with their popcorn and their Coke and watch the movie play on as, the people in the United States start picking each other off all over the place. And then when the population's down to a manageable level, they come in and go, okay, time to mow down the rest of them. That's realistic. Okay, let's go. Trucker Hershey, did I watch Canadian Prepper's review of the movie? He thought it had good insights on the symbolisms. No, I didn't. I haven't what, I mean, up until Saturday, I didn't, the movie was promoted so well and was so popular, I didn't even know it existed until you guys told me. So, Rick's Corner, what do I think of Dan Bongino? I like Dan, okay? Do I agree with everything he says? No, okay? Do I agree with everything anybody says? I don't agree with everything Mrs. Pinball says. No, do I think Dan has his head on straight? Yes. Do I think he's got a difference of opinion on certain things than I do? Sure. That's fine. Okay. I don't want a whole world of clones of me. That'd be a pretty boring life. I don't expect you guys to agree with me all the time. Hey, this is my opinion. Take it or leave it, or maybe it makes you think, and we go from there. Maybe there's a fact you didn't know or something. But no, I've got no problem with Dan whatsoever. The only problem I have with Dan is his investment in Rumble. I think that was a mistake because he probably doesn't know how many crooks he's got working in accounting over there. Old Hippie 60, did I see at the Iowa State Capitol devil worship allowed to display hate for Christmas? Yes, I did. The Church of Satan is allowed to have a satanic nativity scene or whatever it is on the state capitol grounds. It's like, well, if they can, and I guys understand, I grew up in Michigan, okay, high school in Michigan, and go back to the 80s, and where I grew up had a large Jewish community and a large Christian community, also a large Arabic community. And every year you had the argument about, can they have a menorah up? Can they have a creche up? On oh, it's government property, separate. I mean, this argument is nothing new. The Church of Satan's got into it relatively recently, but it's just like I don't care. Okay, it's like you want to put up your was it Baphomet or whatever statue, and fine. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to laugh, go, you're an idiot, and move on. Wendy, I'm not even going to bother reading that. Brett has cute toes. Okay. Sorry, I've never noticed. He's not my type of guy. The Bud Light was left somewhere else. Carl Lynn, what are my thoughts? Till or no-till garden? Well, it depends on when you plan on getting food out of it. Okay, if you want to get food out of it this year, till. If you're going to get food out of it 10 years from now, go no-till. Okay, no-till is not, gee, go spread a bunch of leaves and grass clippings and plant in it. It doesn't work like that. You need time for all those wood chips and everything like that to decompose. By the time you got a base of anything, 10 years. Okay, so yeah. You can be building on top of, you can do both, all right? Kind of what I'm doing now. I'm building the soil. I want to get that 12 to 18 inches of organic matter, compost, yada, yada, yada. So later I can just put grass clippings and leaves on top and everything, and I can plant right into the soil below. Everything's good. But no, no-till gardening is not as easy as everybody on YouTube makes it sound like. Dump some grass clippings out there in the fall, and in the spring you'll plant and have a beautiful garden. You never have to water or fertilize. Yeah, right. Snake oil. Okay. It's 8:30. So let's get into our nine live streams. I can never say it's a tongue twister for me. 9 live streams of Christmas. So if you guys know what this is, Ed, thank you for the super chat for Christmas fun for next year. There we go. If you guys have been around, you know what this is. Mrs. P and I are giving away 9 prizes, one on each live stream between Thanksgiving and Christmas. They are all based, the questions are all something that I have mentioned in a video or a live stream between St. Patrick's Day, Labor Day, and now. I told you I was tired. So if you've been paying attention, even to the little things I say, you'll know the answers. Okay. We've had 5 winners already. We'll have a 6th one tonight. Questions are about me. This is how it works. Okay. I will ask the question. Whoever gets the answer first on my screen, okay, I can't speak on how it's going to look on your screen in the order it comes in on my screen, okay, because when we ask this question, there's comments coming in like crazy from all over the country. If it looks the same on your screen as it does on mine, I don't know. How I see it, I will look from the top and see who had the answer first. Whoever gets the answer correctly first will win the prize. And what they get to do, we've still got 4 slips left that they get to pick from, and that will be the prize. So I'm going to give you this one. This is going to be a little more difficult than normal tonight. And for those of you who are saying, oh gee, we know the answer's already been given before you hear the question, I can't do anything about your internet speed. Okay, but for the answer tonight, spelling counts. You have to spell the answer exactly correct. Okay? Yes. So there's no abbreviations or anything like that. All right, so let me move this so I can watch. Now, I want to tell you guys this too. Remember, there is a 90-second space between your questions or between your comments. So you're better off thinking for a second before typing whatever first comes to mind, because if you guess something wrong, you've got a minute and a half to wait till you can guess again. And chances are in that minute and a half, somebody's got the answer. So try to be halfway certain. I want to, because I know I'm going to get a whole bunch of answers that are going to be incorrect here. Well, I guess there's nothing I can do. I mentioned this maybe 2 months ago. What's my favorite beer of all time? All right, there's your question. So now, nope, it's not Yingling, and that's spelled wrong. Nope. It's what I'm drinking right now, but it's not the right answer. Okay, here come a bunch of answers. And I'm going to slowly look. It's not Leinenkugel either. But those are the 2 that I figured people were going to guess. So no, it's not Yingling, it's not Leinenkugel. Stroh's. And we shot to the bottom again, so I got to go back to the top so I can find the answer in the right order. I knew this one was going to be tough. I don't even see anybody that's even spelled it wrong yet, let alone root. No. Somebody's in the right track. There's one comment in here that's on the right. They're in the right direction. See, I told you this one was going to be tough. Damn it. No, somebody, it's on the way on the bottom said Tenet's Lager. There you go. God, if you remember the old, this will go back to beer can collecting days. Remember the old cans from the 70s with the ladies in lingerie on them? Let's see. I gotta keep looking here. We're not going to go on forever if I can't get any correct answers. All right, there's where I was. I will give you guys a hint, but I'm looking. Boy, I didn't think this was going to be this tough. Wallace, you're in the right direction, wrong country. Kevin, you were in the right country. It shot to the bottom, so I got to find where I was again. Okay. Wendy, you are correct. Wendy Blank said, the one I got as a gift in the mail recently. One of y'all sent me a 4-pack of it. Okay, I certainly know nobody can be saying that the questions were too easy and they didn't have a chance tonight. Wow. I am surprised this is going this long. Still looking. Now, Barbara, it's not German. Little Kings. Boy, there's one I haven't had in forever. There it is. Somebody's got it. I just got to make sure they're the first one. Hang on. It was rolling back up. Up, somebody else has got it. Yep, that one's earlier. Hang on. There's a couple of people who have it. Okay, there's where somebody said Little Kings. Okay, and Old Frothic Slush. There you go. One shot, one kill. Fatima Yekberg. Brian Prickrill is the one that got it correct first. Bellhaven. It's a Scottish ale. You guys remember that one? Somebody else had gotten it down a little bit lower. See if I can find it. If I can find them. I know I saw a second one was closer to the bottom. Yeah, there you go. Benjamin Todd had it as well, but he was about 30 comments later. All right. So, who did I say had it? Brian. All right, Brian. Let me get to the bottom here. But Brian is our winner. Brian, you need to pick a number, either 2, 3, 4, or 9. So guys, give him a chance to put his comment in there. 2, 3, 4, or 9, so we can see what he won tonight. Brian Pickrell. Diane, the beer is Bellhaven, Belhaven. It's a Scottish ale. Brian Pickrell, waiting for you. 2, 3, 4, or 9. There we go. Number 9, please. Numero nuevo. And the answer is... Doink. What is it? Ryan won a $250 Walmart gift card. There you go. So you can use that for whatever you need to. I put the Walmart one in there because I figure, hey, maybe somebody needs to get some groceries. So it'd be a good idea. So congratulations, Brian. What I will need you to do is email me your mailing address because I will need to send you a physical Walmart gift card. Walmart doesn't do e-gift cards, so I can't do it that way. So I will get this off in the mail to you tomorrow if you get me your address tonight. So congratulations. All right. That one was a little tougher than I figured. I figured somebody would remember it. Only a couple of you guys did. So, all right, good. I got a hard question in there for you. All right, but congrats to Brian, and that's fun. So, all right, let me mark off what is on my questions here so I remember what I've asked you. All right, that leaves, we're down to 3 left, guys. And I will tell you, of the 3 that are left, there are still 3 different, all 3 of them are different. So give me that, because I know what all of them are. All right, so that is that. We are through there. So let's get back to Q&A. And as usual, because of all the answers and all the congratulations, if you have a question, you're going to have to retype it in because I can't go back that far up anymore. Okay. Memberberry, how should I fertilize my onions? They always come out golf ball sized. Okay. At the very beginning, when you just plant them, you're going to want to get them with a good amount of nitrogen fertilizer, okay? Because you want that green growth, okay? Those onion scapes. Now, whether you know this or not, each onion scape you get is 1 layer of the onion. So you're trying to get as many as you can to get a bigger onion. That's why you want to get the nitrogen on there early. When the onions go to bulb, this is the thing. There's 2 stages in onions. The first off, and if you guys have ever watched Hollis and Nancy's Homestead, okay, on YouTube, I mean, Hollis knows onions like nobody's business. And a trick he showed me, which showed everybody, okay, is he rings his onions. You don't plant onions deep at all because you don't want them to have the pressure against the soil. You want them almost literally to grow on top of the soil. But he rings the onions. He pulls the dirt away from the onion bulb so it can spread out. What you want to do is, after it starts bulbing, give it some phosphorus fertilizer, and that will help with the bulb development. You don't want to give it any more nitrogen once it started bulbing. You just want to give it phosphorus at that point. Okay, but I'll bet the golf ball size is probably because the onion's having too much time trying to push against that dirt. Wring it out. It'll get it down to about halfway of the size of the onion. You might have to do it a couple of times because you ring it around it, it grows out to the side, ring it again. Okay. Rebecca Woosley, how do I find your juice recipes? I'm taking a guess you're talking about juice for this thing. There's a website called e-liquid-recipes.com. And if you go on there, you will find literally millions of recipes from God knows how many DIYers. So, George Smith, squirrels slaughtered my corn this year. Any suggestions on keeping them out? Okay. I've said this is my idea. It works. Just saying. Okay. You know, I'm not going to say go get you a border collie because border collies are great for chasing squirrels. Just ask Daphne. Okay. But I've got squirrels like crazy around here, and Daphne chases them all over the yard, which is good. You know, I have corn. The corn's not fenced or anything like that. It's just there. Daphne's not outside all day, so the animals could have a field day in my gardens. They don't. The reason I think it is because we do a decent job on feeding the squirrels and the chipmunks. Okay, you get some deer corn that's cheap, throw that out there. You find peanuts that are cheap. I mean, Rural King is great for cheap stuff. Okay, you know, a 40-pound bag of black oil sunflower seeds, great. Animals will do whatever it takes to, just like humans, okay, whatever it takes the least amount of effort to survive, okay? If there's a bowl of sunflower seeds or a field of corn that they've got to go in and try to chew through and all this sort of stuff rather than just go pick up some sunflower seeds, they're going to take whatever easiest. You know, if you grow sunflowers, save the sunflower seeds, use them to feed the squirrels. They'll stay out of your corn. I'm not saying this is scientifically proven or anything like that. It's what we do, and I don't have the problems. Is that the reason? It probably has something to do with it, okay? But, you know, and somebody go, well, that's going to cost money. So does pesticides and fencing and everything like that. You know, everything in life costs money. So, best solution I have with you, just give them something else that they'd rather eat, and you know maybe that works out better. Okay, I got to find out where Becca was. As we shot to the bottom. Hang on. Okay, there's the onion question. I have Eve of Survival. Is there a ratio of the dried banana peels, chicken bones, coffee grounds, fertilizer I make? No. It's just whatever I get. Okay. You know, we have eggs for breakfast. I put the eggs in a little, you know, rinse the eggshells off, put them in a little basket. I have coffee every morning. I dump it in. Whenever we have chicken or whatever it is, I'll take the bones out and put those off the side. Whatever you have. I mean, if you don't eat bananas, okay, you're not going to add any potassium to the soil. That's fine. Okay, you're miss out on it, but all you're doing is putting in a good soil amendment because the worms are going to come eat that. They're going to turn it into, you know, vermicompost. You're just adding a soil. You're adding the nutrients in regards to a soil amendment that the worms are going to eat. There's a whole cycle that everything goes through. You know, it's not like you put crushed eggshells out there and the tomatoes go, cool, look, calcium. You know, no, it takes a while for it to break down in the soil. And, you know, whatever you got, put in. You know, you can't overdo it with the organic stuff. Let's put it that way. My prepper journey. Why doesn't Mrs. P have a cat? Mrs. P did have a cat. Mrs. P came from Russia with a cat. We don't have a cat because we have Copper, because Copper killed the cat. That is why we don't have another dog either, other than Daphne. We had Daphne first, and that was fun trying to get them. Fortunately, Daphne was bigger than Copper. But this goes back, I think it's 2018. Marfa, the cat, ran right past Copper. Copper was blind at the time, and Copper reached out, got her right by the neck, and that was that. So, yeah, Mrs. P had a cat. We don't because Mrs. P also wanted a corgi. And the corgi we have doesn't like cats. Plain and simple, 2576. My cherry trees are blooming. Will the tree die? Southern Missouri. No, the tree's not going to die, but you're certainly not going to get any fruit on it next year. If it's Has it been that warm for you guys that it thinks it's spring? Jeez. Okay. Covers Corner Suburban Homestead. Did I see that Zelensky addressed Biden as big friend today during their speech? Slip of the tongue, awful or similar to big guy. Yeah, like I said, they're grifting buddies. I mean, this is it. So, of course, he's a big friend. Joe, you're my buddy. Can I have another $200 million? Right? Don't worry, Joe. I'll slip 2 million back to you. That's only 1%. If you want 20, we'll give you. Uh, Terry Hardaway, is secession a real possibility? Is it being discussed by the states? Yeah, it is a real possibility, and yes, it's being discussed. Uh, Texas is the only state that has it in its state constitution that it can do it. The U.S. government, the federal government, is going to say it doesn't matter what's in your state constitution. Okay, so you're going to have that legal battle, but there's a whole lot of steps that have to be taken. It's on the ballot next year for the people to vote if Texas should secede. Okay, so like I said in my interview with Dr. Miller this morning, the problem is if Texas somehow managed to secede, the U.S. is FUBAR, because there's no way a conservative can win an election without Texas. Texas has too many electoral votes. You get California, New York, Illinois, New Jersey, all being blue. Texas is the only thing that you got that offsets it. So at that point, if Texas secedes, the rest of the United States almost instantly becomes a communist country because the Democrats know there's no way they can be stopped. So that is a drive towards civil war right there, because I'm betting that the flyover states and the Southeast aren't going to be too happy about not having any say in government. So there's your civil war. So yeah, what happens in Texas affects everybody. Okay. David Glover, the DOD is going to tear down the Reconciliation Monument in Arlington. Are you kidding me? I mean, I saw something the other day that I forget what state it was. They're gonna start taking down statues of George Washington because he owned slaves. I just I'm beyond appalled at what these liberal idiots do. You can't erase history. You can't change history. Of millennials and Gen Z question whether the Holocaust ever happened. God forbid all the pictures and records and death certificates and people that were tried and admitted it. God forbid all the facts. It's kind of like a Joe Biden impeachment hearing. Nah, it didn't happen. It's all made up. Sure, this was the greatest scam ever pulled on humanity. Cost what, 60 million lives or whatever, combined between all sides. Yeah, that was it. It never happened. Those 60 million people, they're actually living on Mars. T-Bone, what is a natural way to add nitrogen to plants? Okay, this one is very easy. Blood meal, okay, grass clippings, coffee grounds, any green is going to add nitrogen. So, all those weeds that you're pulling, tear them up, cut them up with a pair of scissors, throw them in your garden. They're going to release the nitrogen. All your grass clippings, that's all your nitrogen. Coffee grounds, tea bags, just go out and spread those over your garden. There's your nitrogen. Don't worry about coffee acidifying your soil. That's only if you're using unbrewed coffee. I don't think any of us is spending the money on coffee to throw it coffee into the garden. Have your cup of coffee and then use the coffee grounds. The nitrogen's still there, just the acid you drank. So nitrogen is an easy one. Prepper Place with Shauna. Have we noticed that Tennessee has been moved to Zone 8? Do you know why it was moved? Parts of Tennessee were. I got moved from 6B to 7A. Okay, so, and again, it's not an exact science. what this is, because I look at Mountaintop Preps and me. I mean, we live a half a mile from each other. He's 1,000 feet higher than I am. Do you think our climates are the same? Not anywhere close. Okay, we're a half a mile apart, but that elevation is huge in difference. So it it's not it's a guideline for you, but you can't go by I'm zone 9. This you never plant this until this day in zone 9. That's weather is weather. Are we in an El Nino or are we in a La Nina? We're in a grand solar minimum right now. Things are changing. So, you're gonna have people say, "Oh, it's climate change. That's why they changed the planting zones." You get a general idea, but you should be keeping notes as to every year what time you started something in seeds, what time you planted in the ground, when you harvested the stuff, okay? Because that's how you're going to allow yourself to tweak. Gee, I planted everything on May 2nd last year. It was 72 degrees. The stuff did great, okay? So we want to wait for the beginning of May and when the temperatures are around 72 degrees and we'll match it up. You've got to make your own records of your planting to be effective at it, because, and again, I'm still tinkering with it. I mean, I'm going to plant my cabbage again in January this year, because the stuff we did for the test last year, I had beautiful big bug-free heads of cabbage. The stuff I planted when Farmer's Almanac said, I had smaller heads that got hit with cabbage worms. I want big, beautiful ones. So I will plant earlier. Happy Canner, Pinball, can deer waste be used for composting? Yeah, deer are not, they're herbivores, so yeah, it shouldn't be any problem doing that. I would certainly throw it in the compost pile. It's not one that you can just throw straight in the garden. Whoops, shot to the bottom again. George's garden. Our border collie herds the cat. The cat just walks on by and shakes her head. That would be the attitude of both of them, yes. Marfa and Daphne used to love to play because, I mean, Marfa was, probably about 9 years old or something when Daphne was 5 weeks old. So Daphne, as a puppy, was afraid of the cats because the cat was bigger. And so the two of them learned to play. And I think I've told you guys this story. When we got Copper, Daphne was then 2 years old, so she was full grown. Copper was here, Daphne was here. They were growling at each other. Marfa got in between the two dogs and was smacking Copper on the nose, trying to protect Daphne. I'll give you that. The cat was trying to protect the one dog from another 60-pound dog. Dr. Nurse Jenny, have I planted asparagus? If so, any tips? I have tried and failed twice. I have asparagus I grew from seed. Okay, it's Martha Washington asparagus. The key to, you got to start asparagus indoors or in a greenhouse or something of the sort like that. Don't try to plant it direct seed outside, and let that first year growth get to be of decent size. You're not going to get any asparagus spears for a couple of years. Okay, so I mean, asparagus is a perennial, but you're not going to get any asparagus spears for a couple of years. But start inside. Wait till you got a decent size, 4 to 6 inch above the soil, and then plant it. But wherever you plant it, make sure that that's where you want asparagus forever. So that's it. All right. Last one here. Sean Ondell, Eastern Washington, has been discussing secession for several years. That's a little different. They're trying to secede from the rest of Washington, not secede from the United States. Texas is talking about seceding from the United States. Okay, so little difference in that. Yeah. Yeah, you got the whole Oregon thing where they want to become part of Idaho and stuff. That's different. They still be part of the United States. They're just trying to change state borders. Texas is saying we want to be a different country. So, all right, guys, that is it. 9 o'clock. thank you for everything again tonight. I hope we had a little bit of fun. Brian, make sure you get me your address, and we will see you all in the AM. Pinball out.